if you're an Aries born March 21st to April 19th, what can you expect for the month of July 2019? Let's tune in and find out. So, wow, Aries, they're just showing me big fireworks, and I don't think it's just because it's the 4th of July. It just feels like there's an explosion of opportunities, of success, and they're just showing me like decisions. So whether they're your decisions or somebody else's decisions, but just being done, like cutting off or stopping. That could have something to do with the eclipses that we're experiencing. July 2nd, there's a new moon total solar eclipse in Cancer, and then there's another full moon in Capricorn partial lunar eclipse on July 16th. And full moons and these new moons with solar eclipses just means that they amplify the energy of those moons, and they create sudden, powerful events for many people, endings and beginnings, right? Sometimes they happen right around the actual date, and other times it takes a couple of months before the events actually happen. But very specifically being shown for you, Aries, that there's absolutely something that is going to be they just showed me like cut in two, like just done, right? Very definitive shift. So let's look at each area of your life and see if we can discern where that might be happening. So let's first start with your romantic relationships. So for those of you that are coupled romantic partners, let's see what's in store for you for July. So part of this energy is about taking care of yourself. A lot of self-care. It feels like it's being directed to you to look inward, to be able to really choose and discern what's good for you, not just for the relationship. So some of you may, in an effort to figure that out, may have to turn away from your partner to process your own wants and needs and desires. There may be things that you haven't been able to say until now, and things that are coming up and out, whether you want to or not. So you may have some uncomfortable conversations. It could be around money. It could be around differences of opinion about where you want to live or how you want to live. But there is going to be some, it just feels like deep conversations in the relationship, but also because it is about you taking care of you making sure that your needs are met, and by taking care of your needs, the relationship can grow and can get better, right? So really important aspect for yourself, Aries, this month in your romantic relationships, to not negate yourself, to look and see, what is it that I really need, or are my needs being met in this relationship? And if not, what needs to change? What direction do I need to go in? Can we find a better path for both of us? Let's see what else is going on in that relationship. This can actually be better, can actually be lighter and brighter and more fluid. And, a lot of times when we get something off our shoulders and, we speak up and we say what needs to be said, the relationship just gets better. So I really feel like there's relief here, and that you do end up moving forward. So I actually feel like that's a good thing that you speak up. All right, let's look at everybody else who is interested in having a romantic relationship. For those of you that are single, Aries, what you can expect for July. So right away, patience. Not everything's going to come your way. And, that can be frustrating for anybody. But in particular for Aries, who are used to getting their own way, who are used to taking front and center stage and making things happen. So there may be a little lag time in the person that you're interested in being able to bring that interest back to you. Now, some of that could have to do with the retrograde. We do have a Mercury retrograde that's happening from July 7th to the July 31st. So that's a time when communication can get screwed up. It's when it's a time when we usually say that things can slow down. But here's the thing, we've got these huge eclipses, one before and then one during, and then right after that retrograde ends, we have another new moon, this one in Leo, August 1st. So there's so much action that I I don't know that the retrograde is that big a deal. Shocker, right? Like, that's not something I would normally say. But because these eclipses, I think that if you're cautious, I think you can still get what you want, because a lot of these, this momentum that's happening here is about moving forward and about creating a different life for yourself. So with a new individual, it just may be that it takes a little bit longer to make that happen. You may have your eye on somebody, and it may be that they're in another relationship and they have to get out of it first, or that they haven't noticed you yet and they're still friend zoning you, or they don't, haven't even met them yet. You haven't been introduced properly. So there may be a little bit of a delay in you getting what you want. The good news is that you do get what you want, and it feels like it could be towards that new moon August 1st, and that everything else that is happening this month feels a lot of freedom around having fun and enjoyment, and with friends and family, and meeting new individuals that you're eyeing for romantic relationships. So I don't feel that it's not that you don't have anybody in mind or that there aren't plenty to choose from. I just feel like maybe it doesn't completely get off the ground until towards the end of the month. Okay, let's move into career for Aries. Let's see what's in store for you for career this month, Aries. Okay, they're showing me it's simmering, it's boiling over. You're going to have to be careful in terms of that you don't take on too much too soon. In other words, when a lot of times, especially with Aries, right, you've got big plans, big ideas, and you get it going, and then you're in over your head and you don't have the right support system, or you launch too soon, or just be careful, because I see it boiling over and making a mess, right? So just, let out a little bit of rope at a time, right? Make sure you got all your ducks in a row. Make sure you have plenty of help, because I do feel like you can make a big splash. I do feel it can be big and really going well, your career, but you just want to make sure that you have the resources, that you yourself are intact emotionally, you've had enough sleep, you're not cutting yourself short on time. So just watch the way in which you set yourself up so that you don't make a mess in the career, okay? But it can go really well. Just watch the details. That's the only thing I would say. And then, of course, communication can get a little, squirrely during that retrograde. So you just want to double and triple check conversations, right? Sent an email. Did you get the email, right? I left you a message. Did you get the message, right? I sent you a text. Did you get the text? Because it's not uncommon during those retrogrades where things just fall through the cracks. So lots of busy energy, a lot of things can get done. Just do your best to stay organized, but I feel like there's an enormous amount of success there for you. Okay, what was on the back burner now is on the front burner. So something that you've been thinking about in the past, you can now expect it to be front and center, and taking up your time in a good way. Let's look at money for Aries. You may be putting out some fires with money financially. It could be, and it could be for pleasure though. It could be that maybe you go on a trip on a beautiful sailboat, or maybe you decide to go hiking in the mountains in Europe, right? I just feel like there might be some overextending going for vacation time that maybe you don't normally put out. So I do feel like there's more money going out than what you're used to, but I also feel like there's plenty coming in. So I don't feel a deficit. I don't feel like it's problematic. I don't feel like I should tell you don't go. It doesn't feel anything like that. It really feels like there's enough to go around, and you're spending money on pleasure and on enjoyable things, and that feels really good, because you've got to take care of yourself and you have to enjoy life. And you don't have to, but it would be a good thing to do that. And I feel like that's falling right in rhythm with what's available for you this month. Okay, let's look at your health, Aries. So I feel like you need some patience with your health. Things taking a little bit more time than you would like for things to get on track, or if there's something a procedure that you're doing, it feels like it might be getting pushed out, or maybe it's done in 2 or 3 steps instead of 1 step. So I just feel like there's just also a little bit of delay with getting your health in alignment as fast as you would like to. And whether it's because it's an elective surgery or because the doctor is hectic or busy or on vacation, but it just feels like there's some delays there that you're not too thrilled about. But I don't feel like it is because you're sick and not getting better. I feel like it's things out of your control that have to do more with scheduling and with the procedure itself and how it's done, things like that. Okay, let's see if there's anything unexpected for Aries this month. Yeah, I feel like a friend that you haven't seen for a long time comes back to town. I feel like there's a renewed connection. There may be some of you who have hurt feelings, like your toes have been stepped on, bruised, and it may be that you choose just to close that door forever. It may be that you just want to move on. That's fine too. It's really kind of like up to you and what you decide on who stays and who goes. This is a lot to do with the eclipses. They are final endings and new beginnings. So for some of you, that means that you're done with certain people in your life and they played a role and now they're not in your lives anymore. For other people, it can mean that it's just rolled into a new chapter. You have the relationship now. Maybe there's somebody you used to work with, and now you don't work with them anymore, and now they're strictly a friend with you. And the relationship continues, but in a completely new way. No longer working together, but now just as friends, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can interpret relationships with the eclipses. The other thing that is coming up that's unexpected is new people, new resources, and trying to discern how I saw, for some of you it might be a literal engagement because I see a diamond ring on somebody's hand, so it could be literally you get engaged and that's unexpected and that's surprised, or it could be just that you get a gift from somebody that you love, or you move in together. Right, so there's unexpected areas in the relationship that are fun and that are fresh and that are freeing. So it feels really good and really beautiful. Okay, and let me just see if there's anything else for you guys, for you Aries, for this month. Yeah, you're just really being asked to be patient, not to overthink things. Do your best to kind of feel your way through the month. There's big energy that... Let's talk a little bit about the new moons and the total eclipse in Cancer on the 2nd. For you guys, you may be able to identify something that hasn't been working and that you need to make some adjustments around it. But it feels like it's exciting. It feels like, oh, wow. Like it feels like new ideas. Oh, I never thought of it that way, or I never saw it like that before. So it feels like you may get some new insights in the way in which you can repattern a situation or change your mind about something in a whole new way because you're seeing it differently now. So it's a very exciting energy that is absolutely has forward momentum with it. So I like it. I like the changes that you make. I like the adjustments that you make. And it just happens like that. And you're going to sit there and go, why didn't I think of this 6 months ago? You know, and you can't go back and think that way. All there is to do is like, thank God I thought of it now, right? So just know that timing is everything, and I really feel like whatever this is, this adjustment, you're going to really be happy with it. And it feels right around this July 2nd, total solar eclipse in Cancer. And it's also, you know, Cancerians are very sweet people, and they're deep, and they're very feeling oriented. They can also be really mean. And, you know, we're all under that influence, right? So be careful. Be careful not to overthink or overcalculate. Right? And because you don't want that Cancerian energy to add to a sharp tongue or anything like that. It doesn't kind of feel like that energy too much. It just feels more like being more in the flow and just excited about the new vision that you have in the direction that you're going. Then we have the July 16th full moon in Capricorn, which is a partial lunar eclipse. Let's see how that might affect you guys. You want to be careful with your tongue around this one. That full moon, this is something that, you know, there may be something that gets you in trouble. an oversight on somebody else's part and you call them out on it and embarrass them in front of people, it could even be your partner or your spouse. So it could be in relationships, right? You could be at a dinner party and say something that's, maybe it was for private ears only and embarrass them. So I just have this little concern that you might embarrass your partner or say something that really calls somebody out that turns to be offensive. So just be careful. Listen, kind of zip it just around that partial lunar eclipse on July 16th, that 24 to 48 hours, right? Those first couple of days after that can be a little bit dicey. Maybe hard, on top of that, right, we have the retrograde, which already communication can get messed up and fouled up. So when we add that in there, so just be careful. It can be a little, like, I feel a little bit prickly, right? So if you just go with the flow around that time, you're going to be fine. You'll get through it. You're just kind of right underneath it and won't be a problem at all. Okay, and then finally we have that new moon in Leo, August 1st, which is right when the Mercury retrograde goes direct on the 31st. Let's see how that might influence you. Oh, this feels really good. I just feel relief. I feel excited. I feel relaxed. So it could be that, some of the changes that you made earlier in the month are now beginning to pay off, or it could be that you're actually on vacation at that time. But I just feel much more relaxed and less eager to have to, put things together or make things move forward. So it feels like it's a much more relaxing time than in July and some of the intensity that July has. But the intensity feels good. It doesn't, I'm not, other than that 16th and 17th around in there, feeling a little more intense. The Cancer one, July 2nd, feels big and exciting and filled with ideas. So I wouldn't back away from it. It feels really good. And it feels like your popularity also increases. And it does feel like you're going to be visiting a lot more people and seeing a lot more people this month. So enjoy. All right, Aries, I hope you like my intuitive astrology. If you do, please click like, share it with your friends, comment below, and have a wonderful 4th of July. And enjoy, for those of you here in the US, your summer. And those of you on the other side of the world, stay warm. And I will see you all again next month. Thanks so much. Have a great day.